Yo, Valt is strong. He can jump over a bus, produce lightning with his hands, and is possibly one of the strongest legendary bladers alive today. But can he take a punch? You'd be surprised to know that most fighters train to take a punch. But unfortunately, no amount of punches can train your brain not to flinch. Some people are born with fast twitch muscles, and that does help them when they're in a fight. No wait, all this training would be useful if you ever get to punch Valt. This is a Beyblade theory, where I take the Beyblade show and apply real-world science to explain what we see our favorite bladers do. Now, I am surprised at how many shots I got of Valt just punching around while doing the video. Although the bladers never really fight, there have been a few close calls, like when Gasm tried to fight Silas, when Iker tried to fight Hyde,
and what are you talking about, man?
Oh yeah, Xander did fight off a few of his teammates back in Beyblade Burst Evolutions episode 25. Now I'm gonna call this a sparring session, but Xander sure displayed a lot of strength within the episode. And let's not mention all the times this happens in the manga as well. Needless to say, if we saw more fights than Beyblade, it would defeat the whole purpose of a Bey battle, in my opinion anyways. Valt's punch strength is gonna heavily depend on the power level you think he exhibits. So I'm gonna make a power skill for Valt in this video. You can follow along or skip to the part you want to see. Now, on the one end, we have Human Valt, and that's like regular Valt, like you and me. He's made of flesh and bone, and his strongest punch is an average punch for a teen. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, we have our superhero Valt. This is the Valt in the anime, the one who can summon Valkyrie to battle, make a freaking Kamehameha for Beyblade, and is able to leap tall buildings in a single back. What?
That's for Superman.
What? We can't say that?
No.
Ah, fuck that. It's Super Valt! Never mind, I did the math to show you just how high Valt can jump when he's doing his spring boost. And that video is linked in the description below, so we know his legs are strong. And in both cases, he has done special training for Beyblades, including weed pulling for his mom, boulder lifting with Free De La Hoya, and cockroach killing. What, you didn't read the manga? But why would he even punch you? We all know that Valt is one of the nicest bladers in the show, so technically, this is an unlikely scenario. But let's be honest, it is best to be prepared for a fight and learn to defend yourself. In this case, I'll create a unique scenario for Valt, which looks like this. A thief has recognized Valt and has no Beyblade of his own to battle him. He wants to take Valkyrie for himself, so he pushes Valt and tries to punch him. He swings at Valt, and to defend himself, Valt puts up his dukes. Being a superhero or not, a punch still hurts. Whether you're a big guy or little guy, a well-placed punch hurts just the same, unless you have C.I.P.
Get out of here!
C.I.P. stands for Congenital Insensitivity to Pain. This is a medical disorder in which a person does not feel any pain. Now, it can be displayed in one of two ways, by having an insensitivity to pain, meaning that a painful punch is not even perceived. A person cannot even describe the intensity or type of pain they experience, or by displaying an indifference to pain, meaning that the person can perceive the punch but lacks the appropriate response. They do not flinch or withdraw when exposed to pain. Now, that does remind me of somebody I met while growing up. He would let people punch him while they were angry, and I did advise him not to do so, as this could still hurt him internally, even though it doesn't really hurt him. But getting back to Valt and punching his lights out, or rather, him punching you. I'm gonna assume for this video that you don't have C.I.P. and that you'll feel a full force of the punch. A punch can produce anywhere from 150 to 1300 PSI, as stated in a study linked in the description below as well. But how much PSI is enough to dislocate a jaw? A punch with 1300 PSI, this is like a professional heavyweight boxer's punch, and it can do just that, plus leave you with a mild concussion if placed in the right spot. This will be one punch to the chin, to be precise, and in most cases, that's all it takes. If Human Valt was to punch you, and for some reason you don't block it, his punch to your face can have a varying force that we'll assume with these few factors. Valt is a 13-year-old kid with no professional boxing training or experience. That means that while his blading technique could be perfect, these abilities don't really translate to a better punch. And it will be a bare-knuckle brawl. No boxing gloves in this match. Now, did you ever wonder why boxers wear gloves in the first place? They're used to decrease the force of the punches by having a larger surface area and having padding. But why? This is done to minimize injuries to the boxers and results in fights that last longer and have higher rounds. But back to Valt, he will be having an average fist size of 3 inches squared. To determine how many pounds of force in total Valt's punch generates, we will have to consider Valt's 3 squared inches of surface area that the punch will cover. The most common way to measure a punch's power is in PSI, which is pounds per square inch. And we can easily figure this out together because we have Valt's 3 squared inch fist times 150. And 150 because that's the lowest amount for an average punch as referred to in the study. Now that does mean that his fist could have up to 450 pounds of force. That's strong. But it's not that simple. That's the potential average force, which is still dependent on the speed he moves at. And that's F equals ma, meaning you have to multiply the person's mass by the acceleration of the fist during the punch. But I am gonna make it simple. There is a punch calculator online you can use. You could change the variables for different weights and speeds and figure out the force of punches yourself. A punch from Valt isn't close to the 900 pounds punch force needed to break the strongest bone in the human body, the femur. But by landing his average punch on the chin, while it's still pretty hard, it does not have a knockout power. And the thief just might get away with a new Valtryek. But this is child's play. No pun intended. Because on the other side of the spectrum is the true legend of legends. Because when Anime Valt punches the thief, the story becomes a lot darker. Valt's able to summon lightning when he makes his special move. Or in some cases, he moves so fast that light is created around his fist. He moves so fast that a sonic boom is evident around his body. In this epic scene, we can see that Valt has been able to move like this for quite a while now. I've talked about how fast you would have to move in order to generate light with your own body in my Why Beyblades Glow video. And this is essentially the same thing that would be happening. Lightning is common worldwide, and it's estimated there are 50 to 100 lightning strikes a second. And lightning can get as hot as 30,000 degrees Celsius or 50,000 degrees Fahrenheit, while traveling at 270,000 kilometers per hour, which is slower than the speed of light, but still is far hotter than the surface of the sun. And so what's really happening here? The pressure created by lightning is much greater than the air around it, causing the air to expand at a supersonic rate. This sudden expansion is what we call thunder. So basically, in less time than it takes for you to blink, Valt throws his punch at the thief. And as mentioned before, we'll leave all the factors just the same, because at this speed, it doesn't even matter. And by using our power scale, we see that our Super Valt is a beast in more ways than you think. Before Valt even punches the thief's face, you both see a flash. And this is from the air compressing and heating in front of Valt's fist. Like we see in anime, Valt's aura affects the area around him. It would liquefy your entire body on a molecular level as the pressure moves towards you. His legendary fist wouldn't even get to touch you if Valt generated the velocity close to that of a bullet instead of lightning, creating around 45,000 psi or 800,000 newtons of force. That alone would be enough to force a punch through the thief and the guy behind him too. So what though? You probably won't get to face Valt one-on-one. But if you're ever in a situation where someone wants to fight you in real life, it's best not to engage by clearly saying you don't want to fight, but learn to always defend yourself. At the time of recording the show, I'm proud to say that I've not been in a street fight. Although I've taken many punches, argued with people, and have always stood up for what I believe in using my words. I think we could all be happier if we look past our differences and work together to build stronger communities. You can rest assured if Valt was to get into this scenario, he'll be alright due to his training. And we may now know what happens if Valt punches you in the anime or real life. But the better question might be, who works out the hardest in Beyblade? Subscribe and you may find out the next time with this Beyblade Dad.